Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Today we have an all new concealer review and wear test. So we have a brand new concealer from MAC, and this is their Studio Radiance 24-Hour Luminous Lift Concealer. I feel like it's been a minute since we've had a brand new concealer from MAC. I don't even remember the last one. I feel like they've had the same concealers, foundations for many years, but last year they did come out with the Studio Radiance Serum Powered Foundation, and this is one of my favorites. So as soon as I saw this, which seems to be an extension to that line, I was very excited. So I don't think this is widely available just yet. I am based in Canada and I purchased mine through the Bay. I did find it on the MAC US website, but it just says coming soon. So I'm not 100% sure when it's going to be available elsewhere, but if you're in Canada, this is now available at the Bay. So I did pay $44 for this. I see that in the US this will be retailing for $33. This does have a 6-month shelf life. This is also made in Canada. And this is what the box looks like. So it is just black. It has this gold lettering. And I picked up the shade NW10, which is the lightest shade, but it's also the same shade that I have in the foundation. So this is what the tube looks like. I think this is so pretty. This has like a really nice gradient effect throughout the tube. We have the gold lettering, and then we have a gold little detail on the cap, which I think is so nice. This looks to be really updated packaging from MAC because I feel like their packaging has always been very basic. And then last year when they came out with their foundation, this is still very typical of their packaging, but also a little bit more modern and updated with the gold lettering. And then this packaging looks just really beautiful. So let's talk about the details of this concealer very quickly, and then we'll get to trying this on. So this is supposed to be formulated with 80% skincare ingredients, featuring 31 hydrating, illuminating, and plumping skincare ingredients, including niacinamide, vitamin C, and hyaluronic acid to reduce the look of dark circles over time. This is also infused with a cocktail of powerful skin-caring superfoods, including olive and jojoba oils, to condition the skin. This is also available in 44 radiant shades to match your Studio Radiance Serum Powered Foundation. This claims to immediately conceal, hydrate, lift, and brighten, and increase hydration by 90% immediately for plumper, smoother, and more radiant skin. This is going to diminish the look of dark circles over time by 18%. Long-wearing, long-lasting radiance for 24 hours, medium buildable coverage, natural radiant finish, non-settling, streaking, and caking, and does not clog pores. So this sounds really nice to me. Let me zoom you in and I will get to putting this on the face, and then we will get our wear test started. Okay, so I did just prep my skin with my Refer Intense Hydration Cream. That has been my absolute favorite, but I also want to show you what the applicator on this concealer looks like. So this is what the doe foot looks like. It is kind of a chubbier little doe foot, and it is one of those that is designed to not pick up too much product, which is also really nice. So let's put this on the under eyes. I will say I have worn this a couple of times. Let's do some spot concealing as well. And I do have some preliminary thoughts. I'm just going in with my A506 brush. This says you can blend with your fingers, a brush, a sponge. So this shade is pretty much perfect for me. It is the lightest one, and I think it looks really nice. Another thing I will say is that it does feel very hydrating on the skin, which is something I definitely appreciate. I am a dry skin type, and my under eyes are definitely very dry as well, which is interesting because my lids have a history of being very oily. But you can see a little bit of this concealer does go a long way. And I always like to point out that there is no concealer that is truly crease proof. If you have lines, concealer is going to settle. But there are some concealers that definitely settle a lot less, that are a lot less obvious about it. And this concealer has so far been so minimal about creasing. This is one that I almost feel like I don't need to set, which is interesting because it is a more hydrating formula, and I find that these very skincare infused hydrating concealers often do need to be set. I do like to set this one just because it does have a slight radiance under the eyes, which I don't always look for. So I do like to add a little bit of powder. However, I don't necessarily need to because this one really just looks that good and does not seem to crease on me, which I really do appreciate. And again, you can see it's giving me a really nice medium coverage. It is buildable, like it says, and I feel like it just blends right into the skin. It is so easy to blend. If you're new to my channel, my absolute holy grail favorite concealer is the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. And that has just been my favorite essentially since it came out. I love that one because it is so incredibly blendable, but it also gives such a solid full coverage, but doesn't look heavy, it doesn't look cakey. It creases less than anything else until recently, but it still remains my absolute favorite concealer. I will say the new Danessa Myricks concealer creases even less than the Natasha Denona, but I still prefer the Natasha concealer just because of the coverage level. This reminds me a lot of the Danessa Myricks, which I really enjoyed. I am just going to let you know right now that I do really enjoy this concealer so far. This is probably the 4th time that I'm wearing it, but I do still want to wear test it with you so that you can see in real time what everything is looking like. It is currently 9 a.m. so I will be wearing this until around 8 p.m. tonight. So I think you can see that did a really nice job evening out my complexion, smoothing out my skin, giving me a really nice medium coverage. Under the eyes looks really nice. It does have a bit of a radiance there, so if you don't like anything glowy under the eyes, I would just add a little bit of powder, but this concealer just looks so lovely, and the way it just blended into the skin so easily, I feel like I didn't have to work much for it at all. I do want to add a little bit more to this under eye. I didn't quite mean to get that much, but I want to add a little bit more so I can just kind of show you how buildable this is and that it doesn't end up looking super heavy when you build it. I did grab too much, so I'm just gonna add some concealer to my nose. I am going to be wearing a bit of foundation today, but I really don't feel like I'm going to need much just because the concealer has already done so much. So I was definitely able to achieve a bit more coverage on this side, and I don't feel like it's any heavier. It's still blended out very easily, and it's still not creasing and settling into lines. So I am really impressed with this one, and I just want to do the same thing to this side just to even everything out, but that definitely adds a lot of points with me as well. I love how easy this is to work with and that I'm not worrying and fussing too much about all of that creasing, and again, it just doesn't feel at all heavy. So I do appreciate that. So this is what we are currently looking like. I am going to go in with a little bit of the Studio Radiance Serum Powered Foundation because I do still really like this one. And then I will quickly finish up the rest of my makeup and then come back to get the wear test started. Alright, so the rest of the makeup is done. I did end up powdering my whole face, but I really like how my makeup is looking overall. I did use the MAC foundation, and to kind of stay on theme, I also used the MAC bronzer, and I used one of their Glow Play blushes. And I really like how my makeup looks. Like I said, I did set my whole face. I just used my Givenchy powder, and I'm loving how the concealer is looking. It's looking very flawless under the eyes. It's not heavy, it's not cakey, it hasn't settled into any creases, it hasn't done anything I don't want it to do, it hasn't moved at all. I've actually had the makeup on for about 2 hours at this point because I've also been filming other content and I keep getting distracted, so this is actually about 2 hours into application. I am hoping to step outside and show you what this looks like in natural lighting, but it is a very rainy day here, so I don't know that I'll be able to do that. However, I will of course be back at the end of the day around 8 p.m. to show you how this is looking and wrap up my final thoughts. but so far I've been really enjoying this concealer, and I'm excited to actually monitor how it wears all day long, because I think that's the one thing I haven't truly done. I've been really enjoying application, I've been really enjoying how it looks, but I haven't really focused on exactly how it looks at the end of the day. So I'm really excited to do that. Let's get into this wear test. All right, so I wanted to show you what the concealer is looking like in natural lighting, and it is still raining. I don't know that it'll ever stop, so I am just standing by the largest window I have, and I love how this concealer is looking. It looks so good. It looks so seamless. It doesn't look like I have a heavy concealer under my eyes. It's just so beautiful. It's been on for about 4 hours at this point. It hasn't moved. It just looks fantastic. So overall, I'm really happy with this concealer so far. I can't wait to see how it keeps wearing throughout the day, and I will see you guys in a few hours with my final thoughts and my final check-in. All right, so we have reached the very end of the day, and the concealer is still looking so good, and so is the foundation. I kind of forgot for a minute how much I love that foundation, but again, I am loving the concealer so much. I love how lightweight it is, how easy it was to apply and blend. It felt super lightweight. It was also very hydrating, and it's still perfectly intact. It is currently 7:39, so it is almost 11 hours, and it still looks so good. After I finished filming, I did end up filming like 4 other videos. I am pre-filming in advance of vacation, so I had a lot of filming to do. I had a lot of editing to do. I had a bunch of other things that needed to get done. So I've been really busy all afternoon, and the concealer still looks really good. The areas where I added it to my face, so around my nose, they don't even look dry. Normally they do look pretty dry by the end of the day, and there is absolutely no dryness. The areas that I tried to spot conceal, they are still very well concealed. So I am really loving this new MAC concealer. I'm just so happy with how it wore, how it's been wearing. Initial application, I'm super impressed. So overall, this is a really amazing concealer from MAC. I was so excited to see them come out with a new one because, like I said, it's been quite a while since we've had a new one from them, but this one is fabulous. I was also looking around, and I only see it available at the Bay in Canada. I did see on Instagram this might be available in Europe. I'm not 100% sure, but I will leave all of the links down below in case you want to check it out, and I will try to remember to let you know when this is officially available everywhere. But if you're in Canada, you can get this now at the Bay. So I'm really excited about it. I do love MAC products. I am still such a huge fan of their products, and I absolutely love that I feel like they're becoming a little bit more relevant again. I feel like we were all kind of bored with MAC for a while because they weren't coming out with anything new or exciting, and now I feel like we're talking about them again, and I'm so excited because, like I said, I've always been a fan of their products, and this did not disappoint me. So overall, it's been a very successful wear test. I'm really happy, and let me know down below if you have any questions about this one. Are you planning to pick this one up? I just want to hear all of your thoughts down below. I love hearing from you guys so much. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!